So in the last lecture, we used a post request to store data. Now obviously we want to get back data. So let's go to the dashboard.view file, for example, and let's say we want to load data when we visit this file. So first of all, I'll add a script section, and there I'll export a default JavaScript object, our view component. And as I said, I want to load something when we load this page. So I'll simply add the created method, which is a lifecycle hook of Vue.js. And now here I want to reach out to the web. So for that, I'll simply import Axios from Axios here too. And that will be the same instance of Axios as the signup file. So we're not somehow increasing our bundle size by importing it here too. And then in the created method, I can simply run Axios get. And now get requires at least one argument. That is the URL, of course. So let's copy the URL from the post request. Let's enter it here. You could pass a second argument where you configure this request, but for now, let's simply chain then again, because get also returns a promise. And then we will also get back the response. So here I will also console log the response, and I will add a catch block where we could catch and handle any incoming errors. And of course, you could now store the response in some field where you output it on the view. Now that is something I will do, but for now, let me just do it like this. If we now save this file, let's move over, clear the console and move over to the dashboard. And you see here, after a fraction of a second, because Firebase is really quick, here we also see such a response object as Axios gives it to us. Status code 200, a couple of pieces of information about headers and requests, and then very interesting for us, the data object, which is a JavaScript object where the key is this cryptic string and the value is the object we stored there with hobbies and so on. So this is how easy we can send a GET request. As you see, it really doesn't take that much. It's super straightforward and it gives you a nice and easy to use way, an alternative to sending HTTP requests from Vue apps. Now let's actually see how we can work with the data we get back here before we then dive into the little bit more advanced Axios features like configuring requests, intersetting requests, and so on.